that I was right, you know, the fucking brakes were locking up. He said the brakes locked up in the rear. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so then me and Keegan went back up by Grandma. All right, I told Keegan, go back by Grandma. He's like, why? I want to go with you. I said, just go. He's like, fine. You know, you listened. And then you know, Grandpa was already working on the car. Or no, I said, all right, let's go back up at Grandma. So then we went. Again, I want to get that fucking rock out of the goddamn road so I don't hit it. There. You know, then halftime or whatever hit, and I said, I went and told Grandma, I said, hey, I'm gonna go check on Grandpa and see how he's doing. And Grandma's like, okay, be careful. So I went and found the car, and I'm like, hey, what was wrong? You know, I walked up to him and I was like, hey, what, you know, caused the issue, you know, with why Tamara shoved me into the dash? You know, and you know, I'm not blaming her, it was something with the car. He's like, you're right, the brake line was all weird. You know, it started to swell from the inside, and when you know, I learned this because when you hit the brakes, it's like 1,000 pounds of pressure that goes through to push the brakes. Then it's like when you let off the pedal, it's like a pound, and that pound isn't enough to pull all the fluid back to let the wheel cylinder, because that's, I'm thinking drum and rear. I don't know if they kept the drum brakes on Mel's car or they switched them out for disc. But that pound of return pressure doesn't have enough to allow the pads to push the pistons back on the wheel cylinder, let alone push the fluid back up into the master. And that's how you get your brakes to stick until it fucking blows. Says a 40% chance at 2. You know, so, and I never really got to ride in that car since. So. So I'm probably gonna ride till Mom leaves, and then I'm gonna go in and fix that wall or those 2 spots real quick. You know, one spot's a little small, but you know, at least I can fix it. So you know, I don't think that'd be hard to fix. You know, Saturday I gotta open 9 to 3. So I'm probably gonna do a hood tour episode, depending on if I go by Grandma or not, or go with Dad by Grandma. Because if he's like, well, what do you wanna, or you wanna come with my Grandma? I'm like, no, just if you wanna go, just go. You know, I don't wave the fucking morons that don't look over their shoulders. wouldn't mind living in this house, because then I'd be pouring a slab where that boat is from the garage out, and me and Dad can back the camper there, and that's where I can sit. You know, then I'd see if I could have the, you know, how much space I got in the breaker panel in the basement, have the garage wired for 220, get a bigger air compressor. You know, and then maybe get a smaller 220 welder that I can run off that same plug